Need sweeping edge on the sword, and you need a sharpness 5 sword, so you kill them a lot quicker.
Oh, where's the fun in that? I've been meaning to come here and get some ender eyes. Or ender pearls to make the eyes.
Well, I've got loads of them. You can have as many as you want. It's very funny, isn't it, how they decide which stacks to 16 and which stacks to 64.
Yeah. It really doesn't always seem to be based on usefulness or anything.
No. There you go. You have a go at them. The idea is you get as many together as possible so that you're only whacking once or twice and you're using up less durability on your sword. Because you'll hit about 5 at once.
Yeah, they do seem to have a bit of a range on them now. You say, you look at the ones that are way on off, and they don't seem to notice that much.
Yeah.
Oh, don't let me stop you. Be hunting. Unless you threw all your swords to me.
Oh, no, I've still got a couple of swords left, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're the one that came here for the XP. I'm just along for the ride.
Ah.
Hey, just the righteous indignation they seem to have when they're standing there trembling in front of you.
Yeah, no, they seem really upset about it.
They really do.
What were you doing wrong that it gets you so upset when you got seen doing it? You see, you got to use this now because you've got to get all the water-based ones on your gear as well, haven't you? Ready for the temple.
I have to get all that done.
All right, let you finish them off. I've got 30. 300 zombies or something, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, when you think of the enchanting changes that they made, they are so nice compared to the old one of enchant.
50 levels.
Yeah, 50 levels, and throw the item in there, and you either use it or not. You know, you didn't put it on a book.
Yep.
It's just like, okay, well, this one's giving me Bane of Arthropods again. I guess I'll throw it on the sword. And then you started leveling all over again.
Yep. Because in those days, when it said it needed 30 levels, it needed 30 levels.
It needed 30 freaking levels, yep. And all the signs on the way up to the library that shows you just how tiny the chances were.
Yeah.
I mean, Fortune 3 was what, a 0.1% chance?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. 0.1%, and we all had Fortune 3 picks. So you're looking at, you know, at least, you know, on average, 1,000 attempts. If it had happened on the last one. So, of course, naturally it was far fewer than that, but still, I'm sure we enchanted at least 100 things before you'd get a fortune.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Amazingly low percentages. Yeah, I was quite happy that when they kind of easy buttoned enchanting a little bit.
Well, that's it. You see, we'd put our time in on the first of all, we had to get 50 levels, then you had to get 30 levels, and then they finally brought it in where you could actually sort of control what you get a little bit.
Have some idea of what was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, yeah, there was a time when you couldn't tell what the enchantment was going to be, could you? It just said, this is what you'll get if you spend 30 levels on it. So spend it, and you'd get that, and then, oh, dear. I didn't want that
I didn't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because enchantment, you had, what, the 3 different levels. You had the level 1, the level 10, and the level 30 or something like that. And yeah, it was all in that weird code script that didn't mean anything. So you had no idea what you were throwing on there. Have you been playing Ark? How are things going with your Smilodon and all?
Did I tell? Did I tell
Oh
you?
no. Oh no.
I was trying to move. I've been moving bases. I've been moving over from this herbivore island, which is safe, over to the a better
Uh-huh.
base, more centralised, and been bringing all my egg-laying dinosaurs across, and ferrying them with the Argent, the big
Mm-hmm.
Argent. So I've been picking up a dino and carrying it across while it's flying. And it can only carry certain size dinos, of course. It can't carry the big ones like the stegosaurs and the brontosaurs I've got. So I'd got a level 100 and something Therizinosaur, and it was a beast. It'd hit something and do 200 and odd damage with it, a single hit, It was
Mm-hmm.
great. And I had my Argent, which was like 167th level back because I'd leveled it up about 50 odd levels myself and everything. And so I thought, right, well, I'll clear a path to the island and bring all my big Brontos and everything across in a caravan, one after the other, lead
Yeah.
the way with this beast of a dinosaur. And I just got the worst luck possible. I'm going along a river's edge and bumped into an alpha raptor. Now, that's not too bad, I mean, both my dinosaurs were capable of killing an alpha,
Uh-huh.
but but coming round the other side of a rock was another alpha raptor. And that's bad enough. Two raptors on each other. Oh my God, yeah. But even worse than that, one was male, one was female, so they mate boosted each other. So they took reduced damage and did increase
Oh my
damage.
God.
And there's some really bad AI in the coding for the birds, the Argents and everything.
Uh-huh.
In that, if you're not on them fighting with them, what they do is they fly in a circle. And they can't turn very quickly, so they fly in quite a large circle. And these raptors are fast enough to run right behind them. So it's always turning, trying to get to this raptor. And this raptor's just running behind it, hitting it, and it never once hit the raptor. So even though it was a lot tougher than this thing, it got murdered. And then they both turned on my Therizinosaur, and that was it. And it couldn't fight two at once. So I lost my second and my third favourite dinos in the space of about 2 minutes. It was heartbreaking.
Damn, man.
The only saving grace was that I hadn't taken my saber tooth with me.
Mm-hmm.
Although maybe if I had done, they'd have survived because it would have been joining the fight with them. But I don't know,
Jeez.
So they're still there, blocking the path. Those two alpha raptors, mate boosted alpha raptors. It was awful. It's a great game. It really is.
I always love it when you throw that in there.
Well, yeah, because I mean,
Oh my God, I rage quit. I kicked a hole in the wall. I yelled at my wife when she got home, and I went outside and slashed all my car tires. Oh my God, what a great game.
Well, that's it. I mean, you can tell it's a great game because it can do that sort of nasty thing to you, and you want to go back for more.
I agree. I understand. You've heard my EverQuest stories time and time again where I talk about, the last pull of the night and we have a party wipe and spend the next 2 hours in a terrified panic trying to get our bodies back and loved every minute of it afterwards.
Yeah, afterwards. Yeah.
It was great stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I had my days where I used to, take and slam my in a car door over and over and over again. Yeah.
Yep.
So I understand.
Yeah. And that's it, you see. It's just got to get you and Dwend played. Although I don't know what rates you'd have to put on a server to make it, possible for someone like Dwend who hasn't got the time to spend, hour after. Because I just don't get it. Like I say, I'm 550 odd hours in, and I'm barely started. I mean, I know you and I play slow. We do, don't we? We don't play at the rates.
We play slow.
But
I've had to say that with people with the, whenever I'm putting up one of my board game videos, I always have to explain that. Now, this game usually takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Expect it to be about 2 hours because Mindfeed and I, play very slow, and number two, we talk a lot.
Yeah.
So
that's it. We enjoy it,
We enjoy ourselves.
I always say that. Say me and Gio place a block. look at it, decide where it's going, say what we're going to do with it, what's going to be there, and all that. And then we'll turn around and Brendan will have built the whole thing and be waiting for us. So he just gets on with placing his blocks, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he has that talent of 90% of the time he can just throw a bunch of blocks down that looks good. He's got the 10% that he screws up and it's a pile of crap. And I'm glad that I've been around to record it a couple of times when that happened. Because it happens so rarely.
Yeah. Feather Falling 4, I can get on a book next.
That's not bad.
No, I've got plenty of Feather Falling 4, but I can get one at least. Put it in here, and then anybody who needs it can have it. What's your best equipment? Would you be taking your best stuff with you to the Guardian Temple, or are you just going to...
I would figure I would. I mean, it depends. You know, you've fought a Guardians before. What kind of a fight is it? I mean, how tough are they? Are we talking about Ender Dragon level, or?
No, it's more a case of just learning.
Not drowning?
Yeah, not drowning, definitely. And learning how to cope with them. The Elder Guardians themselves, they have quite a nasty thorns on them. So you hit them with a sword, you're going to be taking as much damage as they are. So you'll want a bow for those. The eye beams take a moment or two to charge up. So as long as you break the line of sight, you can get out of the damage of that, you know. So the Elder Guardians themselves aren't really much of a problem. All the other little guardians around just tend to grind and wear away at you, you know. But yeah, the main problem is the drowning and moving around and things, you know.
It's kind of like fighting in Kedge Keep.
Yeah. And I mean, at first, when you first go into your first Guardian Temple, you've no idea of the layout, you've no idea of where anything's where, so you spend ages and ages looking around and searching, you know. I've done it so many times now. I know roughly where they are, and I can probably pick from the outside and go straight through into the chambers, you know.
Yeah, one of the most challenging dungeons I ever fought in EverQuest was a place called Kedge Keep.
Kedge Keep.
Kedge Keep, yeah. And yeah, it was a ruined underwater temple. Same kind of thing with mer people on the inside and seahorses you had to fight and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was the biggest thing, was learning one, how to navigate the hallways of the place. Learning how to navigate the hallways of the place. Swimming.
Yeah.
And then, you know, making sure you had the appropriate enchantments and armor and spells and items to keep you from drowning while you were doing it. Then once you did that, you know, fighting the actual boss at the end wasn't all that rough. Especially if you had, you know, you were with people that had done it before and knew what to do.
Yeah, well, that always helps, doesn't it? So that's the same with the Guardian Temples. First time, it's just utter panic and you haven't got a clue, but eventually you get used to it.
One of my favorite places in the game was Mistmoor Manor.
Mistmoor Manor?
Mistmoor Manor, yep. The home of Mayong Mistmoor, who was a vampire. You could tell it was heavily based on Castle Ravenloft from D&D.
Yeah.
But that was a fun place. He had all these dark elves. He was a dark elf, and all his servants and all his servants and minions were all dark elves. But they were all dark elves, vampires, and various other kind of undead. Fun place to go. Fun place to go. And you had to learn the stuff like, you know, there were roving patrols in the hallways and things that would just eat you alive if you were the appropriate level to be in there.
Yeah.
Unless you knew where all the secret doors and the hidden passages were. Which didn't make it easy, but it made it easier. So it was always like, okay, hold up, let's stop at the end of this hallway, hold it, hold it, hold it. Let's let the party go by, let those guards go by. Now run across the hall and through that wall.
Yes.
There we go. We're in the hidden area. We're in the safe room. Now just stay here, gather up your strength, heal up.
Yep. There's a castle in Transylvania on the Secret World, just like that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till they walk past and sneak across into that room. Yep.
Yep. He wasn't an actual character in the game, though. In EverQuest 2, he was. You could actually go to his mansion in EverQuest 2 and fight him. He was one of the boss monsters. EverQuest 1, he was never at home. You go to his bedroom and his crypt, his sarcophagus there was always empty. But they used him as he turned up several times in the game. They used him as an NPC, a GM-controlled NPC. So when they would have a special event or something like that, sometimes Mayung would show up.
Right.
The one that, there was this forest called Kithakor Forest. And originally it was a forest, it was right off of Rivervale. You had to go through it after you went, let's see, you were at the town of Freeport. And when you left Freeport, you went into East Commons, and then you went into West Commons, and then you went into Kithakor Forest, and then from Kithakor Forest, you had an exit into Rivervale, which was the home town of the hobbits, of the halflings. And it was, in the first year or two of the game, it was basically a very low-level zone, aimed at being a hunting ground for the hobbits in their late single digits and early twin digits. And apparently they weren't using it that much because there was other places you could hunt that was also off of Rivervale that were just as easy to hunt. And you didn't have to go through a zone line to get there. So they had a big event where Mayung Mistmower showed up. A GM-controlled Mistmower vampire showed up and had a big fight with Firiona V and all this kind of stuff. And basically, Kithakor became an undead zone at nighttime.
Right.
From all the dead, there was a big, giant battle that occurred. NPC battle and all this, and high-level characters could join in on it, fighting for one side or the other and all that. And then when the battle was over, Mayung cast his spell and turned all the dead on the battlefield into undead. So during the daytime, it was still a low-level hunting zone. But as soon as nightfall came, it became a very high-level undead zone. So that was a lot of fun.
Wow, can't imagine them doing that to these sorts of things today. But yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Run for your life, level 10. You don't want to be there now. It's going dark.
It's going dark. Yeah, as soon as you heard the music and heard the wolves start to howl, you knew you better get your ass out of that zone if you were under like level 40 or something. Because if you weren't in your 40s and 50s, you were about to get eaten. Yeah, it's stuff like that where it's something I'd talked about before with EverQuest, with Lotro. You had the little things like that where it's a low-level zone. You had the same thing in the East and West Commons. The East and West Commons were fairly low-level hunting zones for all the newbies in Freeport, but had an occasional thing like East Commons had a griffin that flew through it every now and then. There was a griffin that sat there and did this loop that flew along, where if you got too close to it, it would just kill you, insta-kill you.
Wow.
And over in West Commons, there was a sand giant that would occasionally spawn and trample around the zone. So you had those kind of things. You had these low-level zones, but they had occasionally high-level monsters in them that you always had to keep your eye out for.
Yeah. It's
what I liked about Lotro. Whenever I first started playing Lotro, I've mentioned it in a couple of videos before, the Chetwood Forest. The Chetwood Forest over there with the bandits and all, which is built for, the humans and hobbits of the Bree area to go hunting in when they're in their low to mid-teens. But when the game first came out, they had like a level 30 warg that also wandered through that zone. So you always had to keep your eye out. You know, is that warg coming over here? Is it one of the regular wargs, or is it the level 30 name one? You know.
Like those tough ones that are there now in Lotro that wander around.
Yeah, they eventually got rid of it because of complaints, but then eventually, they brought in the Nemesis again, where you're sitting there and you got to watch out because all of a sudden here comes this level 110 guy in your level 50 zone.
Yep.
I like that. I liked when I saw that they had added these Nemesis creatures back in there. Because you shouldn't, I never feel you should feel totally safe in any location.
No. I mean, it's like you can get complacent, but if you do get complacent, you're going to die pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened to me in Ark. You know, I had these two really tough dinosaurs. Thought nothing can touch it. You know, not even an alpha could touch it. So I bumped into two alphas. You know.